And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Kill Dr. Lucky, the 19.5 Anniversary Edition, the Deluxe 19.5 Anniversary Edition. A classic board game from the late 1900s. Kill Dr. Lucky came out in the late 1900s, designed by James Ernest. This was one of the flagship games of Cheap Ass Games, a small company that he started, James Ernest, that basically was no frills games. And Kill Dr. Lucky was the prequel to Clue in a sense. Not Clue per se, but you're running around a mansion, but instead of trying to discover who killed Mr. Body, here the person's Dr. Lucky, and you're kind of irritated at them and you want to off the person. But it's really hard. It's the kind of person where you throw a dart at him and he leans over and finds a penny and miss. It's just, the guy just has incredible luck. And so the game came out in several versions. They came out with a very nice version from Titanic Games. And now this is the 19.5, we'll call it the 20th anniversary edition. Now this one is made to look like a very classic game. Has that old style, late 1800s Victorian era to it. It is essentially the same game. They have changed some of the rules, and it's been a while since I played Kill Dr. Lucky, so I can't tell you exactly, but maybe when you watch my review, you'll be able to tell which rules are which. Either way, let's take a look at how it plays. Okay, so here's the board. This is the Mr. or Dr. Lucky's mansion. Each player is going to take a character, and they're going to get a card that matches that character, and you can be male or female. There's all sorts of characters with backstories as to why they're there. Look at these people. They're twins with they seem so nice, and all of them really seem to hate Dr. Lucky for whatever reason. Players are going to get a handful of cards, and then on your turn, you are allowed to move one space, or you can play a move card. You can move to a very specific room, or you can add to your movement. So this will let me move 2. Okay, so when you move, you can move to an adjacent room. If you're in, for example, the dining hall, you can also go down a hallway and go here. If you're in the master suite, I go down here to the Winter Garden. So you can see your movement is very... You can get all over the place pretty easily as you move. And apparently you can spin off the board too while you're at it. When a player is done with their turn, Dr. Lucky's going to move, and he's always going to move to the next room. So here's at 15, he goes to 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, back to 1, etc. Now your goal is to kill Dr. Lucky. And you want to kill Dr. Lucky by being alone in a room with him. If you're in the sitting room, you can try to kill Dr. Lucky. But if someone's in the trophy room here, they can see there. Someone in the dining room can see you. Someone in the Lancaster room can't see you because there's no door there. But if these people aren't here, maybe they're around here in different spots, then you have a chance to kill Dr. Lucky. And everybody has a strength of 1. So you can try to kill Dr. Lucky just with your fists or by tripping him or something. But you can also add a weapon to it. Like, for example, this Civil War cannon, which will add 3 to your attack, or 6 if it's in the armory. Or this duck decoy, which is 2 or 5 in the trophy room. This chainsaw, which is 3 or 6 in the hedge maze. I'm not sure why it's better in the hedge maze. A frozen fish, 2 or 4 in the piazza. So you have different weapons. When you use a weapon, other players must stop you, or you will win the game. So they can discard cards with luck symbols on them. These cards are basically just going to mess you over, and players will take turns until they've reached your amount. And if they do so, you have not killed Dr. Lucky. Too bad. However, one of the cards that's played is placed under your character, and the next time you try to kill Dr. Lucky, you now have a strength of 2. So every time you fail killing Dr. Lucky, you're going to get stronger and stronger, so eventually the other players combined aren't going to be able to stop you. So once again, players have very simple things. On your turn, you can move. If no one can see you, let's say I'm here in the hedge maze, and no one can see me, then you get to draw a card from the deck. And the cards are basically made up of the moves, the weapons, and failure cards to mess over other players. Or try to kill Dr. Lucky. Or try to kill Dr. Lucky. Sometimes, and many times, you won't even be able to take an action. And then it's the next person's, Dr. Lucky moves, and it's the next person's turn. This will continue until eventually someone will kill Dr. Lucky. It's possible to run through the whole deck, then lights are out, and Dr. Lucky the only time someone can see you in a room with Dr. Lucky is if they're actually in the room with you. So that's a lot easier to kill Dr. Lucky. You can even play a silly little game that after you kill Dr. Lucky, he comes back as a ghost and now he's trying to kill all of you to haunt you. You can also play with one of his pets. You can say this is a dog or a cat. Put it on the board, move it around. The dog is chasing you or keeping you. The cat distracts people in the same room as they. You can also play on another board here. This board has 2 floors, or you can just play with half the board if you have fewer players. So you can play in a smaller section. When you're playing in a big house with fewer players, you do knock some of the rooms off, and it just gives you different options. That's how you play Kill Dr. Lucky. Now, if you've never tried Kill Dr. Lucky, you owe it to yourself to try it at least once. It's just an intriguing game. You are collectively trying to kill an old man. I know it sounds bad when I say it that way, but this guy, like, I don't know, he killed your dog or whatever. Just make up some reason. Actually, I think you have a reason. Hang on. She was working. They were going to rob someone, but her sister died, so she swore revenge on Dr. Lucky. Here, Dr. Lucky's reckless behavior cost him his girl, his job, and his life. Okay, these seem to be pretty good reasons. Actually, there's probably no good reason, but anyhow, the theming is cool. I love the artwork, and I don't want all my games to look retro like this, but having one like this is a pretty neat idea. The concept here is pretty simple. Try to figure out how to get Dr. Lucky in a room by yourself. Now, it's harder the more people that are in the game, but it is not impossible, and you can pull it off. There's some interesting things that so basically I take my turn, you take your turn, and everyone goes around the table taking their turn. But after the first turn of everybody doing that, starting on the second round going around the table, if Dr. Lucky ever moves into a room and there's just one person in that room, it becomes that person's turn. So that person might move into another room, and then Dr. Lucky moves there with them. And it lets them kind of just keep taking turn after turn after turn, Dr. Lucky moving into them till they get them in that right room. So that's kind of a clever little idea. And the whole concept of the murder weapons is clever. Now, the luck part, when I initially played Kill Dr. Lucky, this is where I kind of had a problem. It's the whole, well, I'm not going to stop him, you stop him aspect of the game. Because someone's attacking Dr. Lucky with a 5 weapon. I got several luck symbols. I'm like, I'm not helping. And then Joe says, well, I'll throw in 1. So Lisa now, there's only Lisa and Sally left. And Lisa says, well, I don't want to play. I don't want to waste mine. Sally, you cover it. So she doesn't play any. And Sally's like, I don't have 4. And so then I get away with it. Ha, 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 ha. However, if players work together, that usually will not happen. But you got to keep that in mind. If you're the first person, especially in a big group of people, why should I help stop him? You guys will handle it. But you got to find a balance between that and literally throwing the game. So there's table talk involved. What this game does do, and it took this idea, I know, from the Titanic version where they had spite tokens. This one has these upgraded tokens. They're not called spite in this game. In this game, you basically get the extra cards, reasons. I guess you have one more reason to kill Dr. Lucky, and you're just infuriated. And I like that, and it gives you a reason to try more attempts. And when you first play the game, you're like, no, I'm going to fail here. No, don't worry if you fail. Go in and do it. The more reasons you get, eventually you'll be so powerful you'll be able to take him out. And I like that. I like that there's 2-sided board here with the smaller rooms, the dog and the cat. They're good, although I wouldn't have minded a little sticker maybe to put on that piece to make it look like a dog or a cat. But those are nice variants. And even though it's silly as all get out, I'm a big fan of the whole Escape from Lucky Mansion, where Dr. Lucky just goes and starts attacking people, and you can attack other players, and the last person alive wins and runs. It's a really silly ending. I wouldn't recommend playing it all the time, but it's just, I don't know, I just found it kind of a goofy end to this very goofy game. And so the fact that this game goes up to 8 players is nice. I think its sweet spot is 5 or 6, though. It seems to be enough people to see you in different spots, but not too many where it's overcrowded. But it really does scale pretty well, especially with the new boards. If you have smaller players, they work really well. If you've never tried this before, certainly give it a go, like I said. This guy really needs to be killed multiple times, apparently. Hey, sometimes retro artwork just works like a charm, and this is one of those games that does. Although he looks kind of like a cross between Thomas Edison and the popcorn guy. Anyway, that's Kill Dr. Lucky. Dice Tower judgment approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.
There.